Hey, Breaking Points. I'm joined again by Jules Topak. We're here to talk about Instagram's big changes and why, whether or not you use the app or not. This is a deeply important topic. So, Jules, let's just start here with the conversation. What is happening on Instagram? Why is there a backlash? And then we'll kind of get into why this matters beyond just a who cares what the user experience looks like on this big app.
Yeah, and social media is just a silly little thing. But yeah, so what's been happening at Instagram? It's been happening for the past like 2.5 years now, ever since TikTok started taking off late 2018 into 2019. Instagram has been trying to, replicate a lot of the features on the platform. There was a recent update that only went to a certain percent of users as a test, but it was like a full immersive feed. So basically exactly like the experience you're having on TikTok. And this was kind of a tipping point for outrage. This app now feels exactly.
Quick pause, because I want to make this very clear for people. So think about your Instagram experience, especially when using the app for the past 10 years or so. You just scroll down and there's a picture. There's a picture. And then sometimes there's a video. There's a reels, but you're still just scrolling through. What does this immersive thing really look like, folks? So what did these special users see?
Yeah, well, even to your point, so on the feed before, there was, a lot of different white space and all this type of stuff. This immersive feed is trying to make so the videos take up your entire screen, as well as if a photo, obviously Instagram has multiple dimensions of content in terms of like box photos, etc. Even then, they will have like a more full screen situation where you're not seeing all the white space that you had previously on the platform. So exactly like the TikTok platform taking up your full phone screen.
So why would a change from this scrolling to a full screen provoke so much backlash from big users and small users alike?
Well, I think every platform has a value add, right? So TikTok in the past, it launched in 2018. In the past 4 years, it has grown to already 1 billion users. That took Instagram twice as much time. It took them 8 years. And so people are having an enjoyable time on TikTok. They're spending a lot of time on TikTok more than any other social media platform. The time spent on app keeps going up and up. But still, you leave a platform and go to another platform for a different experience. And now on Instagram, you are experiencing, sloppy seconds content. It's just unoriginal, as well as you are not seeing your friends' content much anymore. It is more so based on a recommendation algorithm when people utilize Instagram before, more so for their friends, their family, and people that they choose to follow for, a deeper connection with that they might have discovered on other platforms like TikTok, like YouTube, like Twitter. They follow them on Instagram for, that deeper layer of their life. But now you're getting mostly fed strangers' content like you do on other platforms, and people are not happy about that at all.
See, it's kind of weird because most people my age came up when Facebook really launched. I stopped spending time on Facebook 6 years ago. I got a new phone. I didn't download the Facebook app for like a year, which is really crazy by 2008 standards, but I kept using Instagram. Yep. Instagram is obviously owned by Meta, so these are both Facebook products, but I kept using it because I had a strong connection with my friends, with my family, even celebrities or brands that I'd chosen to follow. So to your point, not just being randomly served up, I really liked that. But at the same time, if they're transitioning away from that, why would they choose to do that as a company, right? They're doing this not out of either the goodness or the badness of their heart. They're trying to make money. Like, why would it make sense to push Instagram away from the experience that people like me have drawn to, even as we've abandoned Facebook?
Yeah, I mean, Instagram has become an archive of like your generation's life, my generation's life. It was one of the early social media platforms that has stuck with us up until this point, like 15 years later. So the relationship with, okay, wait, we might have to cut this part. What was the question again?
Yeah, the question was, why would they choose? Yeah, we could edit this. Yeah. Why would they choose to push away Instagram from a user experience that managed to retain people, let's say like 28 and above, who'd abandon Facebook despite coming up on the app?
Yeah. So right now, Instagram has gotten heavily into shopping, and over the years, that was been their main focus. Their focus wasn't creators as creators came up. Their focus was on advertisers and these companies, and they missed a big window of opportunity. So with that, they noticed that the Gen Z users started to heavily decline on this platform. Of course, when you get to 1 billion users, you can't go up like a crazy amount from there, considering like internet access across the world and everything like that. But what they're focusing on right now, and a product designer from Instagram did a tweet thread about this, is that they are focusing on those 25 and under and trying to gain that audience back so that Instagram can have longevity in the future. Because the reality is all of these social media platforms are adding more and more features, and they seem very similar. Twitter's still pretty differentiated, but even between Instagram and TikTok now, TikTok added stories the same way, Snapchat and Instagram have. All these apps are kind of forming into each other in different ways. And in reality, it's kind of to become ideally a super app situation. China has a super app. They have WeChat and apps like that. In the US, we don't necessarily have one. And what a super app is like a platform that can service every aspect of the consumer experience. That's shopping, that's social, that's, recommendations, everything like that. And Instagram is kind of further ahead in that way. They have a wide range of features. Right now, it feels like an identity crisis and a mess, and it's making their user base move elsewhere and obviously get very mad.
So are they going to continue on this path, even though there's been user backlash? The way to think about this is when Kylie Jenner wasn't happy with changes at Snapchat, the stock lost billions of dollars of value. They made a bunch of changes. Kylie wasn't happy with these changes either, but all the reporting seems to indicate they're still moving ahead. So what's the difference between these two situations?
Yeah. So what the difference is Instagram, being a copycat platform like they have been since their origin, had worked for them in the past. For example, in 2013, when they added videos to the platform, that's when like Vine had started about a year before, and Vine's user base ended up going to Instagram because people were like, oh, it's like a one-stop shop. Vine was kind of messy. It was a startup, everything like that. They also took Snapchat stories, put stories on Instagram, and that took a lot of their user base, and people were utilizing stories on Instagram rather than Snapchat. And where they went wrong is in, I believe, 2018. So June 2018 was a pivotal moment for them, because not only did they hit 1 billion users that month, but they also launched IGTV, which is a competitor to YouTube. So instead of realizing that they were like the quick bit short form video content, well, not video content, just short form quick bit content in general, they tried to go at a competitor that was also coming up heavily during that time, but had an entirely different culture set for themselves, right? And that's where they went wrong, because then you had TikTok in 2018 launch, and they were kind of what Instagram really should have done, innovating and filling voids within the space that they were strong in, rather than trying to continuously copy every platform and be everyone all in one place. They were doing well with that before, again, but that's where it kind of went wrong. So what they're realizing now is that there's a lack of innovation there. People look at them as a copycat platform, and they need to reset and go back to their basics, which were mostly community. Shopping makes sense, obviously, because people utilize Instagram as a more high-produced platform. There's more aspiration there. You're following people that you trust, and so shopping obviously goes hand in hand with that. And also curation. So something more similar to Pinterest and everything like that. They need to go back to those types of roots and be innovative within that realm, or else they're going to lose their user base right now, unless, of course, TikTok gets banned, which I'm sure they are betting heavy on.
Yeah, and that's a whole other conversation we will almost certainly be having in the next few months. But I think the last real question is, and I'll just give my reflection on it, is like, why does this matter? Like, why is this not just superficial? Like, my take on it is that social media connecting billions and billions of people together was huge, like 15 years ago, right? Like, I remember the transition from MySpace to Facebook to adding Instagram to adding all those other different apps. And it's just become so obvious that that's just an aspect of our lives that it really feels as if it just happens. But the way that these apps are structured, the way that these apps are prioritizing different types of bits, Taylor Lorenz had a good piece on this. She basically said that, look, like, Instagram has a choice. Either it's for connecting you with different people, or well, it's not that they have a choice. It does both. It connects you with people you know, and then it also puts stuff in front of you like it's TV, like it's a form of media. And the decision of which direction the platform goes has always been in tension, but it seems like right now they're choosing much more towards the media direction. And I think, as most people know, during the COVID period, this is how we interact with our friends. This is how you keep up. This is why everyone is joking about how high school reunions aren't what they used to be, because everyone knows what's already happening. So I think that's like my take on why it matters. But like, what's yours to close this out?
Yeah, I mean, media sets the tone for all of culture. I think maybe 5+ years ago, and something like Instagram and social media in general could be looked at as more silly because you were just following like your friends and family, people you already knew in real life, and it was just like another extension of them. But as we are consuming more and more strangers' content, it's taken a big role in our lives, especially since the pandemic. It's intensified our relationship with these platforms, and it's just kind of skyrocketed from there. I honestly think how seriously we take conversations about the education system is how seriously we should take conversations about social media at this point. Social media is how I learn all of my information. It is how I network. It's how I get connected in my career, everything like that. Like it's become a second life and a second brain in a lot of ways, an extension of obviously our real life, but it should be taken very, very seriously. And as we move towards this conversation of a super app and these platforms wanting to be everything for everyone, that's very intense. That obviously incorporates our finances and everything like that. So these conversations aren't something to take lightly, even though in the past social media was kind of looked at as, this fun, silly thing. It's definitely not just that anymore.
Understatement of the century. Jules, thanks for coming on the show. No doubt I'll have you back on next month because there will be more TikTok and other sorts of news and anything else that we would love to talk about. Thanks for coming on Breaking Points.
Thank you, Marshall.
Cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.